What's going on, everybody?
Welcome to the show.
I want to start this show off with a question. And, give you a little bit of a warming up to what we're going to be talking about. But, what are your labels?
Me, Fifth Element.
What labels do you use to describe yourself? And why do you need to be labeled as anything other than a good person? Pretty good start, huh?
Well, my label's adorable.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My label is 6 foot tall and sexy.
I am a meat popsicle.
I think that would be a lie. False advertisement.
Bingo! Cue the intro.
Alrighty.
Alright.
Welcome back to the show today.
So, talking about labels. Alright. Everything today seems to be associated with some sort of fucking label.
Including the label maker.
Yes.
I mean, so you label people over a certain age, no matter what, someone's going to be labeled old. You're going to label your gender or sex, male, female, other, everything's labeled instead of just being whatever. And then you have, like sexual fetishes now are labeled on everything. Stuff that used to be kept in the bedroom, stuff that used to be private between two people is now out there in the world.
I know that you guys are kinky.
Yeah. Well, this is not the best subject for me because we all know how I feel about this future world we're traveling through with labels I hate. I think there's some labels that are necessary to industry or to health and fitness, like a person who's like mentally handicapped or, bipolar or, there's certain levels. But it's almost like we're seeing in this modern society a splintering of like micro labels, like every little thing. Like if you sneeze twice in a row, now you got a name for it.
Yeah, it's just
it's like a label. It's like, oh, you're a pterodactyl.
It's a pterodactyl.
And it's like, no, I just sneezed twice.
It's like labels and justifications for every aspect of labeling. Like something that we have a lot of issue with, at least I do, that's going to be loud as shit.
You get over it. Move on.
So, yeah, and, I've got no problem with this, and we'll see how YouTube handles this one. But perfect example for mine is pedophiles now labeling themselves as MAPs, minor attracted persons.
Oh, yeah, that one will piss you off.
I mean, they're trying to justify something that is heinous into a label that's not as offensive.
They're taking a label they've had forever that just immediately should fill all people with rage and just disgust. And they're trying to find a more pleasant way of packaging it so they can, try to mainstream it more.
Now,
and make it less of a bad thing.
One of the arguments I've heard, and now this just goes to tell you, there's a comedian that I saw, he did a stand-up. He was explaining that the term pedophile is misused a lot. And he says, hear me out. The only reason that people don't say this is because when you try to explain it, you sound like pedophile. So he's like, it has a very specific definition. And trying to define that, trying to explain what the definition is, makes people think that you're one. So, the term pedophile goes into this whole group. So instead of using just the term pedophile, they use it as a term to encapsulate all of them. So it's something that people have tried to do to bring justification and bring, what's the word I'm thinking of? Bring credibility to what they say is a normal sexual fetish, which it's fucking not.
Don't be ridiculous.
And it's just something that, it's just another label that somebody's making up to bring credibility.
They're calling it a neutral and non-stigmatizing alternative to the term pedophile.
And there you go. There's a stigma associated with it because you're fucking with kids.
Are you a pedophile?
And it's just one of those things that drives me crazy, that they put labels on things that don't necessarily work correctly. Same thing with like all the different fetishes that all of a sudden are part of the norm. You know, you have like people who, you know, before, like everybody's always heard of furries and shit like that. And it's been a bedroom thing. It's been something, I don't care if you want to go in the bedroom and dress up in a costume and pretend you're a squirrel or whatever the fuck you want to do. Why do you need to bring it out in public? There's a reason that it's supposed to be behind closed doors. And now it's turning from something that somebody used to do in the bedroom to now I'm a cat person. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's ridiculous. What are you looking up?
The definition of pedophile. Mm-hmm. I agree. It is not. To me, it is too limited of a name. I mean, it says here that it is an individual who experiences a persistent and exclusive sexual attraction to prepubescent children, generally defined as those aged 13 years or younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree. I think anything under legal age is...
Well, those all have other specific terms.
Yes.
So I mean, like they lump anybody under the legal age as a pedophile,
yeah,
a sexual predator, which you are, and then they take the names. There's like 3 or 4 different names to describe each different age groups. But trying to explain that makes you come across like you're a creep.
Yeah.
But taking the term minor attracted person, which is fucking horseshit.
That is one big pile of shit.
Trying to take away from what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and there's...
Oh yeah, they're leaving off the pedophile, which, okay, maybe each case doesn't meet that specific definition, but sexual predator does.
Yeah.
You know, but then again, these are the same people who want to lump some drunk person who took a whiz in the vicinity of other people.
You peed on a church?
As a sexual predator, and it's like, all right, now we're going a little too far the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, was it indecent exposure, and should he be accountable for that? Yeah, of course.
Well, then you gotta question: are you talking about a drunk guy peeing on a kindergarten class's bus?
If he's drunk enough to not know that it's school time and the bus is full of kids, then I guess.
What? He was drunk.
I don't know. It's such a gray area. That's where everybody draws problems.
Yeah. So I mean, like, if you turn around and you want to say, okay, a guy at midnight who's in an alley peeing on a business's wall as a sexual predator, yeah, that's a little stupid.
Yeah.
But if they're sitting in the middle of a park with a bunch of kids and whip it out and piss all over the place while kids are looking, you're a sexual predator. Come on, I don't care if you're drunk or not. Some people try to say you can't be blamed for what you do drunk. Yeah, you can, because the consequences still are there.
You can, but I don't think necessarily. That's a great one, because yes, you're accountable for allowing yourself to get that drunk, but the one thing to me is intent. Were you intending to show your penis or whatever to a bunch of minors, or were you trying to pee?
Or are you intending to drive home when you run over a child?
Yeah, exactly.
You still run over a child.
Right, but I wasn't intending it, so it don't matter. It don't count. Free to go.
You're free to go.
You get my point.
No, I mean, I get the point, but there's also different aspects to
obviously,
it, you
yes.
know?
It's just weird. It's yeah.
And yeah. So getting back to the labels. So like this is my point. It doesn't matter if you're gay, transgender, white, black, Hispanic. It doesn't matter. Be a good fucking person. That's all that matters.
To talk about the whole peeing thing again, it's sexual predator or sexual whatever predator or whatever they call it when you pee in public in front of kids. But as long as you do it in a rally or a festival, it's no longer showing your genitals to children. Is no longer a crime. I guess that's where I draw this gray area. It's like, you're labeling someone who was drunk, albeit of their own decision. You know, they got drunk. They're accountable for that. they peed in front of kids. All right, fine. Let's punish them as if they're, you know, I just think that sexual predator is a hard label to carry for the rest of your life because you got drunk and made a mistake. Punishment, yes. Carrying a stigma of being a sexual predator and have to explain that and have people research it before you can move on in life, that's a little much for being drunk one night. But we got people that go to festivals and fairs and parade around naked or half naked and do vile things, and that's all deemed okay. Nobody talks about that because that would be wrong. You'd just be an old white asshole.
I'm
like, that's my thing, is it's like, I'm tired of all these double standards and all these labels that they're slamming on people without, I think every single case has to be brought about in its own merit. You can't just blanket statement anything.
Yeah, I guess so with labels, I mean, like, we're two middle-aged white guys. So we'll say something that's not even remotely racist, and then we'll be hit with, oh, that's because you're a middle-aged white guy. You don't understand. You're racist about it. You know,
I get that all the time. You get the Republican comments, the racist old white guy, the old guy who's out of touch with reality and only listens to things that are his genre. I get it. I have kids. I have other people around. You know, when they're losing a debate, that's their go-to. We're old.
The thing that's crazy is that compared to a lot of other people today, we are extremely moderate. We have views on both sides of the social spectrum.
Well, we're I'd say, I would guess, and it's weird because it's kind of contradictory. How can you be a liberal conservative?
And it's very,
but it is what I am. I mean, I'm
very
conservative
easy
in
when
my
people
government
listen.
ways.
Exactly.
But in life, in personal choice, in the freedom of those choices, I'm very liberal.
Yeah, like I want a smaller government. I don't want the government telling anybody how to live their lives. That includes both sides. Not just stopping where you don't want them to go and being okay with them going to the other side, but no, like stopping. I don't want the government involved in anybody's life, telling anybody how to live. Yeah. But at the same time, I want freedoms for everybody.
Well, I want to go back to a country who realizes that we control the government, not the government controlling us. And I mean, that is the point of the Constitution and everything.
That's the thing that labels has done, is it's just given more ways to separate us, to divide us, to separate all of us. You know, there was a while there where things were going really good and people were starting to, form a community, form better things, and then 2020 rolls around. You had COVID, you had the murder of George Floyd, you had all that shit go on, and then all of a sudden everybody's racist. It's like, no, most people aren't racist. At least most people I know. I wouldn't deal with people who are racist, but throwing that label just because you have a thought about something that's different, and instead of taking it by the actual case and throwing it out there.
I can't say that. I've worked in a lot of jobs, trucking and farming, and you come across racists all the time. You work with them. You have to work with them. I mean, unless you're the owner or the boss, then maybe you could weed them out. But if you're just a regular employee and you work with another person of equal rank or even higher rank that is racist, then you either find a new job or you learn to deal with it and try to X that part of their agenda out by either walking away or not carrying on conversations that deal with that, or letting them know, hey, I don't really appreciate that kind of language or that kind of speech.
I want nothing more to do with you guys
around me, And yeah, I've dealt with that, and it's not like it's just been white guys. It's been people of all color. And you get them, and the funny thing is sometimes it's people of color. I guess that's an okay term, right? Or
people of color,
ethnicity, and they're actually racist towards people of the same, from like a different country, but of the same general.
There was when I joined the Army. I grew up in Miami, very much, cultural melting pot, hodgepodge of everything.
Perfectly represents the dream of the American melting pot.
Yeah.
So I graduated and I went to basic training, and I was teaching people how to shine their boots. So we're sitting there shining it. It was two Midwestern white guys, and they made a comment about a couple of the black guys there, saying that they can't believe that they let racial slurs like that into the Army. And I remember looking at them saying, what the, are you fucking kidding me?
What'd you just say? What'd you just say to me?
Like, we're in the Army.
Oh, that's rare too, because that is way past the normal frame of when that was a common occurrence.
We're talking, what was 2002, 2001?
Yeah, I mean, we all knew a lot of that went on when they first.
It was 2002.
When they first started integrating. There was a lot of that, because there was such a divide everywhere that eventually has all but gone away. And I mean, I've known plenty of people that have been in and out of the military, and race has never been an issue for them.
I mean, that's so when they check out the 4 branches, most of the time the one that has the least amount of racial issues and complaints and stuff like that is the Army, because they treat everybody like shit. It doesn't matter what your race is. It's just you're a soldier, and if you're lower ranked than me, you're a piece of shit, basically. But the Army has always led the way on the least amount of racial complaints. I'm guessing is what it is. And I just remember when that kid said that, I kind of fucking went off. I'm like, you're in the Army. You're gonna be a soldier. You need to lose that fucking attitude, because it doesn't matter. It never mattered.
The fastest way to make you realize it is when you're out there in battle and somebody saves your life. It ain't gonna matter what color they are.
And I mean that
saved your life. That saved your life.
That's my whole point. Is I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what type of person you like to sleep with. I don't care what fetishes you have. I don't care what you have between your legs. If you're a good person, that's all that matters to me. I don't care about anything else. What happened to being a good person? What happened to, this is a good dude? It's like, no, but he voted for Trump. It's like, what the fuck does that matter?
Well, what happened to people taking their word is that's like the most sacred thing, is your word. If you say you'll do something, doesn't matter what your suffering is to make it happen, you make it happen.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you could turn around and say it's an old mentality, they're here for us. They heard us talking about this subject.
Right, and I think that's why when so many people hear you say, man, I miss the good old days, they automatically think good old days
segregation, racism.
Racism. And it's like, no, I want to go back to when people said what they meant and meant what they said. When everybody wasn't so sensitive that a joke or a comment or a look or anything would set off a major event. It's like, just stop, man.
Or say the good old days. Like, look, I know different areas of different places are going to have different experiences with stuff, but the old days where neighbors knew each other, neighbors said hello, neighbors waved. When you drive by and you wave to a neighbor, they don't look at you like, why is he waving? If you're I'm riding by on a motorcycle. If you're going for a walk and the kid is excitedly waving, and I wave back and rev my engine, don't give me a dirty look, because we're neighbors. We live on the same street.
Yeah.
What happened?
Used to be that you'd have neighbors, and even if you weren't best buds or even really talking neighbors, you watched each other's home. When they were out of town, you kept an eye on their place. When they were out, you were out of town, they kept an eye on your place. It just was the thing that, the decent thing that neighbors did. Nowadays, man, you have a neighbor, you never know them, they don't talk to you, and they're twice as close as it seems like they used to be. Now, that's obviously neighborhoods and where you grow up, but my neighbors, what are they, 10, 15 feet on, 20 feet on either side of me? They're like...
And back in the day, people would, if you had a problem, you go to your neighbor and you'd be able to talk about it.
If you needed to borrow something, you're cooking or doing something, I wouldn't dare go walk over to either of my neighbors and ask for a cup of sugar.
Can I borrow some brown sugar?
We were wondering if we can borrow some brown sugar.
Gotta put a little more bass in your voice.
It's just now people are way quicker to call the police before even having a discussion.
Yeah.
You might have a cop show up at your door, knock on your door, and say your music's too loud.
Gonna be fucked by the long dick of the law.
And versus somebody saying, hey, you know, the baby's asleep, could you turn it down? And that when you talk about the good old days, we're not talking about the racism and the segregation, and we're not talking about the degradation of women and you know mad men beating your wife.
Want to bounce me off the walls?
No.
Well, you get this thing nowadays where everybody says, you know, they're like respect is earned.
Yeah.
It's like no.
Respect is given.
Respect my authority!
It's given.
You can lose the respect, but
I will respect every person on this planet until you give me a reason not to respect you.
Okay, so here's a perfect example. And this is actually something I've thought about because when I become a teacher, I know it's going to come up. Somebody's going to say, respect is earned, not given. A kid is going to do it. The kids say that shit.
Yeah.
It's always been said, respect is earned. It's like, okay, but if somebody you've never met disrespects you because you haven't earned their respect, how is it possible to even be disrespected?
The continuation of respect is earned.
Yes.
The longer, you know, once I get to know you, then I'll respect you for your deeds and things you've done. But I offer up a level of respect straight from the beginning. I will not disrespect you just because I don't know you well enough to have respect for you. I can lose respect for someone because of life choices, racism, anything that goes against the way I believe the world should be.
And then the whole respect thing. I'm not talking about walking a good day, sir.
Good day, sir.
No, I'm just talking about general respect and kindness.
We've generally moved past the yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am area of life. I'm not saying that it was bad to do it or that it's better that it's not. It's dangerous to do anymore because you misgender someone or mispronunciate or whatever. Yep. Then it's, you know, a world of hurt.
And like that, and that's another thing is like your labels. I mean, they call them labels, but we were just joking about this before we started shooting. We don't have the labels on our fucking foreheads. We don't have the labels, you know, like your name on a military uniform. Nobody knows your fucking labels. Nobody knows what you are, who you are.
In honesty, I've never looked feminine. So I've never had anybody call me ma'am while looking at me and misgendering.
Unless it's an insult.
I have been called ma'am by people who haven't thought it through.
Oh yeah.
They just answer before they really realize, you know, it's just.
That's kind of like
yes ma'am or no ma'am.
That's kind of like talking to somebody and, you know, when you hang up, it's like, all right, I'll talk to you later, love you. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh yeah, I've told my boss I love him, and he has laughed and given me shit about it. You know, it is what it is. But, you know, so used to being on the phone with Jenny and at that time of night and getting those little calls when he called and we talked and, you know, I'm tired. I've been up all night and I'm like, all right, I love you. He's like, what? So it's like, wrong person.
No, see, that's when you double down and be like, you heard me.
Wrong person. I love you because you afford me the ability to make money and pay my bills. So.
Right.
But yeah, I think respect deepens and it's almost on a different level when you get to know the actions and life of someone.
Hey, you know, you don't need, if you go into a situation and you say you're going to respect me,
but you will respect me.
Okay, you're losing my respect.
Yeah.
But if you're going into a situation and say fuck you, I don't respect you because you haven't earned it, well then you've lost my respect too. You know, it's just...
I'm really big in accountability of self.
That's another thing severely lacking today.
Treat people with respect, whether you agree with their lifestyle or not. Do not intentionally try to anger or upset or disrespect them. That being said, we had a friend who was... well, how can I tell this story? Let's just... whatever. Let's skip past it.
Tell the story. I can cut it out if I need to.
We had a friend of one of the kids who was when we met them originally, they were female, And then later on, and I'm hoping I'm getting all the stages right, they changed their name to male. And then they became, they started transitioning and they wanted to be called, by their new name and by their new gender. And I was fine with that. But, and this dude is super cool.
Really
if
awesome
I slip
person.
up, and I'm an old guy, let's admit it, I'm an old white guy, we're sitting around, and there'll be times when I'll slip up, and I'll either use his past name or his past gender, and he will be super cool about it. He never makes it a big fucking deal. And I always apologize if I catch myself that I did it, because I'm not trying to be offensive.
Because he's
it is
awesome
what it is.
person.
Yeah, you have to give people time to change on something that they're pressed into that's new.
Yeah.
Because if everybody my whole life has known me as let's say Travis, and then after I still hang around with all these people, and then one day I just come out and say, no, I'm now Barney.
Barney?
It's going to be hard for everybody not to yell out at events or things when they see me my old name, because that is my old name. So you would have to give them that leniency too.
And here comes more of my liberal views on things like that. I've never been someone who liked my name. I've never liked my name. I don't know why. It's just I've never liked it.
I don't like it much either.
I never have. I've always, my entire life, I've gone by nicknames.
Yeah.
Always.
I know, I've heard them all.
Yeah, yeah, that was my nickname in high school. But I've always gone by nicknames. So when somebody says they're not comfortable with their name, they don't like their name, they don't want to go by their name, they want to go by a different name. I'm one of those who it's a name. I don't give a fuck.
What's in a name?
Well, growing up as kind of a quiet, kind of a shy kid, Travis was a hard name to have, because people would always ask you, and you would say it, and they would never get it right. And for whatever reason, which nobody I know can make sense of, when I'm on the phone and somebody asks my name and I say it, they always come back with Charles.
Charlie, 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 Charlie.
Nowhere near the same. Don't even sound similar. But they're like, oh, Charles? I'm like, what the shit? No. But, here's my thing. It's like, look, life, growing up is tough. And there's certain things you just gotta move past it. You can't let other people and other things that people do that could be the rudest things you've ever experienced affect you in a way that you cannot focus and get on with your life. And you gotta live in this victim world of it's not fair. You know what? I grew up with a brother who was half my size my whole life, but a year and a half older. And we would go to church events and family functions, and people would literally say, we see who gets all the food. We see who eats all the food. You need to lay back and let your brother get some. I lived with that my whole life. I've always been a big guy. My brother's always been fit.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. But if I had focused on all those negativities, I could have just become that guy who never moved out of my parents' basement because everybody's so mean to me, and it's not fair that people call me fat. Well, I am fat. I'm not fat enough to be made fun of, and even if I was, you shouldn't be made fun of for whatever.
See,
I don't agree with that. If somebody's overweight or they whatever, or just whatever it is, that's their burden to figure out. You shouldn't be mean to them about it.
This is my entire concept of life, basically. So the first thing is treat the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. If you're about to do something, put yourself in the other position. If you're about to do something, you say, how would my spouse feel about this? If you're about to say something to somebody, how would I feel if
mother feels. If mother loves it, I love it.
And then the last thing is, you shouldn't be offended by somebody criticizing you or insulting you if you would not go to that person for advice. If a stranger comes up to you and says, you're ugly and you're stupid, it's like, okay, thanks.
One of my kids used to come up to me when he was little, and he'd be like, my sister called me stupid. And I'm like, well, are you? No. then why are you listening to her? I was like, you know you're not any of the things she's calling you. You know you're not. Yet you allow her to say it and make you upset or mad or, feel bad about yourself. Just ignore her. She's only saying it to get a response. For the longer you give her a response, the more she's going to say it. Or the longer she's going to say it, I guess would be the right way to say that. And, I don't know how much of it he ever got. And I did the same thing. As an adult, I had someone that I had to deal with daily that was just a kid, a teenager, but just annoyed the living piss out of me. And I would get so angry, and I hated this little kid. And I don't hate a lot of people. And I didn't hate him, everything about him. I just hated that he was just that kid. And then I was given advice to ignore it and ignore them. And I did. And they would come up and talk to me, and I'd just keep walking or just ignore them. Anywhere we went, that they were there, I'd just ignore them. And eventually it stopped. And then we started building a relationship of, that was cool. And to this day, I think we get along just fine.
I would say there's definitely a difference between a work relationship and friendship versus, everybody I'm not going to say everybody, I'm not going to put everybody into that. So many people today allow outside influences to encapsulate their entire day. Somebody comes up to you, says something, acts a certain way, you're angry for the rest of the day.
Well, that's why I like to keep all my friends and family humble by saying mean shit to them constantly.
I'm doing this because I love you. Fuck you.
And they all know. If I didn't like or love them, then I wouldn't have mean shit to say about them. That's just the kind of person, kind of family I grew up with. And if you had a shortcoming, your own family would hammer that shit on you so long that you no longer had a complex about being short or fat or bald or whatever you want to find. You didn't care. You're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody out in the world would make fun of you and be like, yeah, dude, come on, get creative.
Is that the best you can do?
My parents are more creative than that.
I mean that's the whole Cyrano de Bergerac entire concept. Use comedy
and I don't think my parents were always being comedic. Sometimes I think they were just being mean, and I'm okay with it because I think the way we grew up through the 70s, 80s, and 90s built tough people. It built people who
because if you're fat, you got the nickname Slim, and you were skinny, you got the nickname Fatty. It just is how our world was, is that we used comedy in order to make it to the next day. And now it's not. People are victimized for the slightest error in someone's words, and then they fall apart. If we weren't giving these labels so much power, then it wouldn't be such a problem. You would continue to live the world. If you're comfortable in your skin and who you are, what you believe in, and who you want to sleep with, if all of these things, you're comfortable in it, then it shouldn't matter what somebody else says.
Well, the whole problem is nobody's comfortable with themselves.
Yes.
Instead of being comfortable with yourself, you try to find comfort in a label and force everybody else to accept you so you can accept yourself.
Yeah.
Now, look, I'm the last person to sit here and try to say accept yourself and be happy with yourself. I hate myself.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I hate just about everything about
don't let him
myself.
trick you. He ain't sitting there. He's standing up.
So you work on, I don't care, but in me disliking myself, I don't care. I've reached a point in life where I don't give a shit what anybody feels about me. If you don't like me, you don't want to hang out with me, you don't think I'm funny, you think I'm whatever, okay, go on with your day. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I've got plenty of friends.
To use is annoying.
Oh, I'm definitely annoying. Look, when I first came home, that was my biggest worry, was it not? I said, I'm a lot. I'm really worried that I'm going to piss everybody off. I'm a big personality and a lot to deal with. That's part of the reason she divorced me.
You are a lot.
The other reason is Pepsi. And you turn around and everybody gets offended. I don't understand why everybody's so easily offended by everything. It's like if somebody says something, look, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's fucking bullshit. Words do hurt, but they shouldn't hurt from somebody who doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, if you're a complete stranger and you say some shit to me, I just don't care. I guess I'm that generation. I don't care. I don't know you. We're not friends. I don't give a fuck what you think about me.
And if you're friends and your friend is giving you shit, that's what friends are supposed to do.
That's what friends are for.
I mean, now it all means, I don't mean to say like I'm such a bad, I don't care about anything or anybody. That's not true. If you like me, I like that you like me. If we get along and we vibe well together and we want to hang out and we become friends, I like that. You know, I like having friends and people that I hang out with. But at the end of the day, if you call me something or you think I'm a certain way, I just don't give a shit. I figure in life that there's so many people that the ones that are my people I'll run into and I will know. And the funny thing is I've always been this way. I can find out within the first 5-10 minutes of talking to someone if I'll ever talk to them again or ever be friends with them. Now, if it's a work relationship, obviously I'll have to talk to them again, but we won't be friends. We won't be enemies.
With friends like these, who needs anemones?
I'll respect you and give you, and do the job and be professional. But I can tell you within a few minutes if we'll be friends or not.
Well, I mean, I can tell you right now, she's been the one who's always been incredibly dead on with just about anybody.
Oh, she's so adorable, she's annoying.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
I'm saying she's able to do that too. She just looks at somebody and she knows.
Oh, yeah.
She's able to read them.
I can read a person very quickly.
It's never been a strong point of me.
You should have read in me that I was a movie person, that I could solve movies 5 minutes in.
Yeah, I should have, and then dropped you on your ass. Ruined movies.
We were watching a movie last night, not to change things.
I'm the same way.
We were watching a movie last night, and then we were just a few minutes in, and I said, oh, she did it. And she's like, what? You better not be right. She's like, just turn it off. And I said, I'm probably not right. I'm human. I'm probably wrong. But I just read it that was the person who committed the crimes. And then later in the movie, I said something else. I was like, oh, this is going to happen. And I said, probably not. And sure enough, 5 seconds later, it happened.
I'm pretty similar with that. I also can tell you what a character is going to say next, what they're going to do next. But I think part of that has to do with being a writer and studying writing and studying dialogue and being able to anticipate what a writer would do. But there are some movies that you watch that blow you away and don't do it.
I didn't know why I was that way until I took a test the other day. And turns out
You're gay.
No, I'm a genius. I took a test and it said that I'm between, who was it? Two very
Albert Einstein and Jeffrey Dahmer.
They picked these two people and said, this is where your intelligence falls. And I said, well, some bitch, now I know. Now I know.
And we all know that those Facebook quizzes are
my teachers,
scientific.
Yes, science!
Growing up, had seen the brilliance inside of me, the limits of where it could be, you never know.
I mean,
might have gone past 7th grade.
Bingo, I did. I took a GED. Thank you very much for kicking me while I'm down. Is that what you do? Sit around, kick little fat kids? Mm-hmm.
Now, I've taken one of those tests before, too, and they said I'm over 6 foot tall.
Well, maybe you are to ant people.
Well, no, that's not That's not how it works.
Maybe in the world of smaller creatures who have smaller feet, you are over 6 feet.
That's not how that works.
In the land of fairies, you're over 6 feet. Their feet are little.
I know in this day and age it's hard to take factual information and allow it to still be factual, but measurement is still...
Listen, the fact that I turned out genius is a joke on the test because I already knew I was genius. I mean, literally, I know where my intelligence lies. It's not in school and education, but it is in real-world genius. Actually, what it really said is, it did say I was very smart, but it said I am a problem solver type person. My brain thinks in how to solve everything I come upon.
That's why we're friends, because mine literally says problem maker.
Yeah. No,
so I make the problems, you solve them. And then she gets angry over the whole process.
Yeah. But unfortunately, problem solvers sometimes can just bring you to the life of being like a mechanic or somebody like that, which is nothing wrong with that. Before I get a bunch of mechanics writing in, it's just not going to make us billions, am I right?
Well, it depends on if you own an air conditioning spot for a car right next to a building and house industrial air conditioning thing right next door.
Car AC is different than from home AC.
Same, but different.
It's very different.
He doesn't work on cars.
No, I don't. We're talking about, no, we're not talking
He's good at a lot of things. Mechanical is not.
Mechanical,
Yes,
putting stuff together, building.
Let's poke a little fun at my buddy here. He bought a grill.
Oh,
what was that? $29
this was years
grill?
ago.
It's like a $20 grill.
This was years
grill.
ago. I'm much better now.
Grill you buy at Walmart.
Yeah. That's where I got it.
You buy it. It's in a small box. You pay it. You take it home. You put it together yourself. It's like aluminum.
It's not aluminum.
It's like 6 bolts. I get a call.
There was more. No, it was more than that.
It wasn't a call. He started putting the grill together, and I think we either got a call to come over.
No,
or
you guys were coming over.
The grill was not done, and he was about to lose his ever-loving mind. So I finished the grill for him in like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, I was about to lose my shit. I had to fix our dryer. The belt came off the tumbler.
You did do that. You did about rip your fingers off.
Oh my! They were shredded to pieces. You know how long it took me to do it? Like 7 hours.
Oh, I know.
But I did it. I did it.
We were very proud of him that day. We thought we might have to call him Stumpy.
I don't know. Look, I've never. He makes fun of me about this all the time. We go to the gym and I wear gloves. I like my hands to be soft and bitch-like. I like that.
We're very similar in a lot of ways and very different in some. Like, I don't. I have working man hands. I've worked physical jobs my entire life. Not my entire life. I had a small section there where I did photography for a living, but even around that, I would have jobs that were, landscaping and building and driving. And
there's a distinct possibility in the next couple of years my hands are going to get toughened up. Yeah. When I played baseball, I used to have the calluses across my hands and stuff.
You get them right across the top.
Yeah, you get it here and up here.
Rotation.
So you used to be able to do that. You used to have that a lot. And then the military had them all the time, like on feet and hands and stuff. But I also was an air traffic controller in the military. I wasn't like a soldier.
We have seemed to slid off of the topic of labels.
Yeah.
It's what happens.
And then don't need to beat a dead horse. Be a good fucking person. Let your actions speak more than a label.
Stop, for the love of God, labeling every little thing in your life. There should not be 3,000 different versions of this particular problem.
And what's it matter to a stranger your label? If somebody's like, oh, what are you? It's like, I'm a good fucking person. Nice to meet you. Let your actions, let yourself
I'm a crazy son of a bitch with impulse controls. What are you? Are you the type person that pushes? A crazy person with impulse? Then you would be labeled as stupid. Anyway,
but that's pretty much what we're saying. Let your actions, let yourself, be a good person. Stop being assholes. Stop being angry at every little transgression that somebody
and let's just
throws
realize
your
that
way.
most of us aren't really that different, man. We're just trying to get through this life with with as much enjoyment and health as we can. And just viewing people as, man, just another person who's struggling to get through this daily grind, man.
And most people don't give a fuck.
Yeah, be cool to yourself, be cool to them, they'll be cool to you. Let's just all be cool with each other.
And if you are a person who has issues with certain labels that you put on people, fucking stop. Be a good person. Stop being an asshole. It goes both ways. Like some people. Oh, you see how I did that?
Yeah. And if you got anger issues or problems with this, maybe buy a motorcycle, get some tax, just learn to chill.
Yeah.
Go with the flow.
Buy a motorcycle, start riding, and you realize that the only people who matter are people on 2 wheels, because people on 4 wheels are trying to kill you. But let us know what you think. I am really curious to know what you guys think, especially about the Coke Pepsi thing that we talked about.
Yeah, talk to us. Let's debate. Let's hash it out.
Yeah, we could.
See if we can't mince
We'll take comments, questions, and we'll put them in another video, and we'll address them.
Love y'all. Just stop with the labels.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Ring that bell.
And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.